Hey boys and girls, welcome back to New Stuff TV, the untechnical tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine, deep blacks, rich colors, and ultra sharp picture Richardson, because today we're going to be talking about the LG C4 in the 65-inch variant. I get it, yes. A couple of weeks ago, I told you that the brand new 2025 versions of the B5, C5, and the G5 have been announced, but they ain't really out just yet, man. And there are some great deals on last year's models, which was the B4, C4, and the G4. So now I got the C4 and I had to check it out for myself because I'm on this kind of OLED path, man. I kind of like OLED. Mini LED will always have my heart, but OLED exists. And that's where the C4 comes in. And let me tell you, man, it's been a great couple of weeks with this TV. Now, here's the thing. The B4 was my first experience in home with an OLED, and the C4 takes it up a couple of notches in some ways of performance and also picture, but a lot stays the same because we're still dealing with LG's WebOS, which will be supported for years to come. They just announced that they're going back on supporting their TVs for years to come, like 5 years. So that's great, right? And it's got all that goodness that comes in WebOS, which is, you know, like the work from home stuff, the gaming section, you know, the fitness section, all kinds of stuff that they have built into the WebOS ecosystem, I guess you'll say. So with all that being said, you're gonna, I mean, if you've had experience with an LG B4 or an LG OLED TV, this should be very familiar with or to you with the C4 experience, because it's just taking it up just a notch. And what I mean by that is you get this incredibly thin and lightweight design. So whether it's on a stand or on the wall, it still gives off this high-end vibe, like you spent some money. You also get better audio. So I don't know what kind of speakers they got in there, but it does sound a little bit better than the B4. You get these different preset modes. And the first one you'll probably encounter is the AI Sound Pro. That one's gonna give you more or less of a, let's say, a volume boost. So if you're having trouble hearing, or you just wanna hear everything just kind of being thrown at you, AI Sound Pro is gonna be the way to go. But the one I actually did like was the cinema mode. That one gives you more or less of a balanced sound where you get, you know, that front dialogue coming at you, but it kind of just, man, it just wraps it up and it sounds more balanced, especially with bass and cinema. Yeah, so try that one if you're more of a preset person. If not, you might need to go in there and dial it in, you know, personally, or you might need to get yourself one of them sound bars I've been talking about. Now, I have watched copious amounts of content on this TV, but the one that stands out the most is Spartacus. Y'all remember Spartacus from like the 2010 days? I don't know, me and my wife just decided to go back and start watching it, especially since they're getting ready to come out with House of Asher. And we are on we just finished up season 3 last night on this TV. We're about to bounce into season 4. Dude, I forgot how good that show was. But there was one scene where we started watching it on the B4, or the C4 rather, and I noticed how sharp this picture is. So we're watching it on Stars, which by my standards gives probably the worst streaming quality on any of the apps that I use. Stars is terrible. Stars, you gotta fix that. When we were watching it on the C4, there's a scene where Animeus has been captured and he's like being kind of, you know, posted up, you know, because they're torturing him or whatever. And Asher, man, I freaking hate Asher. For those of y'all who watch Spartacus, man, I just want to, I hate that guy. Anyways, he's questioning him and the sun is just beaming on Animeus's forehead. And of course he's sweating out there and everything. And he's just got this, it looks like diamonds on his forehead. It's just sparkling. I was like, dang, this is a really sharp picture. And all throughout all the scenes, it was just incredibly sharp. Not over sharp, because, you know, sometimes it can be over sharp and like digital looking. It was like a true sharpness. And that was one of the first things I noticed when we were watching the C4. Now, I've never seen either one of these movies, which would be Dune and Dune 2, but Wilson was over here last week and we were filming some clips so we could show you guys on the C4, and he threw this movie on, Dune 2, and I was like, damn, this looks really good. Like, this is a good movie to watch if you want to judge the contrast and like the visuals of your TV. Now, we were streaming this on Max, and I actually paid for the 4K version of Max, so we're getting the best out of it that we can as far as streaming. And Dune, it was presented in Dolby Vision, and it looked stunning. And it's like the perfect display of how capable this TV is as far as pulling out color and contrast with different scenes where you got like total blackness in front of you, then you got this super bright, you know, maybe sun in the back. It was just crazy how well this TV handled it. It's OLED, so all the blacks are going to be blacker than black because the pixels are actually off. But the way it just handles that contrast and color gradation throughout the different scenes, that was just incredible. Just a moment ago, I mentioned the blacks, okay? It's really good at presenting the blacks, but now we got to talk about actual dark scenes. And that's when I get into one of my, I'm not going to call it my favorite show, but Reacher season 3, we kind of finished up season 3. And while we were watching season 3, we actually watched the last episode on both the Bravia 9 as well as the C4, because I just like that episode, season 3 finale. It was just, go watch it, bro. Anyways, there's a scene in there where Reacher and Paulie are pretty much trying to drown each other. They're fighting in the ocean, in the undertow, you know what I'm saying? And it's just really dark with the way they kind of fall down the hill and into the water. And you can definitely see the sparkling, the specular highlights in there. And on this TV, oh man, that underwater scene, it was so good and clear. But here's a caveat. You do need to turn your lights off because, you know, this TV, it does get bright. It's a very bright TV, especially for OLED. It performs well in like well-lit rooms and ambient lit rooms. It gets bright enough to fight off any reflections from a window and some of them from lights in a distance, but not like head-on lights. It gets bright enough to fight that kind of stuff off. But when you're watching a dark scene, especially when you're watching something on Amazon or something like that, like Prime Video, because it was shown in, I do believe it was maybe Dolby Vision as well. It's just dark, you know what I'm saying? So you might just need to turn your lights off or dim them at least so you can appreciate how well that scene is shot and how good your TV is handling it. Now, as I fumble through the different settings, I always go to the default settings, right? The little package they give you with all the presets, okay? They have a couple that I went through, or actually it's 3 of them that I wanted to talk about. First of all, I was watching the baseball game. I'm usually not watching baseball unless it's like World Series or something like that. And that's when I just automatically become an Astros fan, and the Astros happen to be playing. So I put it in sports mode, okay? Because I'm watching baseball. I just found that particular mode was just oversaturated and stupid bright for no reason. I do not recommend that particular preset. LG, if you're watching this, you got to fine tune the sports mode, okay? The sports don't need to be that oversaturated and that bright. So that's when I toggled it down to cinema and filmmaker modes. And those 2 modes were definitely more comfortable and soothing to the eyes. It just gives it more of a warmer tone to the picture. And it also kind of kills the brightness a little bit. That way you're not kind of, you know, squinting and stuff. For me, the colors, you know, as far as being warm, they weren't off because we're watching sports. We want something that's more true to life, you know, true to what you would see in a stadium, I guess. But it didn't seem to put it off too much, even though the colors were a little bit more warm. It was just the motion and everything just seemed a bit more comforting to the eyes. It just felt at home, where I could just chill in my living room and watch this ball game. Now, for me personally, my Goldilocks setting was expert mode. I know it sounds like I know what I'm doing because I chose expert. No, they have these 2 presets, expert mode for bright space, expert mode for dark space. For this particular scene or thing that I was watching, which was the Astros game, I was watching it in the bright space. And I also watched it in the dark space when I was watching other stuff like Spartacus, I just use those particular modes. Those are like my Goldilocks settings right there. Just take it to that one. And you're pretty much going to be able to watch anything you want to. And if you do happen to like that, you know, that sports setting or vivid setting, you know, you might need to seek therapy, but you do you. I really enjoyed the C4, man. It's my second, you know, experience with OLED, and I can definitely tell that there is a difference. There is a level up from the B4. And after experiencing both of those TVs in this living room, I am super excited about what's coming for this year, the B5 and the C5 and the G5, man, because they're supposed to be better, right? They're supposed to like handle upscaling better, because we talked about that in one of my last videos. They're supposed to do, oh, the brightness is sick. These TVs are already mega bright, especially for what I thought was going to be coming out of OLED. They're like almost mini LED bright, so it's crazy. I can't wait to get my hands on one of these 2025 models of TVs. So yeah, man, until they come out and I can get my hands on one, if you are thinking about a B4 or a C4, I don't think you can really go wrong. I'm sure the prices are going to drop. Make sure you check the links for the latest in pricing while I try to keep them updated and everything. But until I see y'all again, well, hopefully when I see y'all again, there'll be like a C5 or a G5 up in here. Either way, y'all keep being good to each other, and I'll see you when I see you.